tavern.
Fire wine. There we go. That's the
And
one.
that stout with the coffee blend sounds amazing.
And then I'm
Coffee
going.
blend outside.
And I'm sitting down. And I'm like, everybody sit down.
Yep. I'm grabbing the Lathanders and bringing it.
Okay. So, I didn't see most of what happened. I just kind of like heard you two shouting at each other. Why don't I don't know what to do. All the confidence just
Jolty did very well with the everyone sit down part.
Mm-hmm.
The follow-up was a little missing.
I kind of just ran out of what I thought I should say, so I don't know.
You were off to a great start.
Okay.
That was fantastic.
Well, everyone,
Like, start drinking.
Yeah, just we gotta. I don't know. Okay, Viz, you tell me what happened.
I was able to knock. I was able to knock two of them out. Just knock them unconscious. I tripped them with my quarterstaff, and I don't know. I just asked to not. I asked everyone to not kill him. Like, don't. He was unconscious on the ground, and I didn't think they needed to die. And Kai stabbed one of them, and I healed him. I brought him back from death, just like I did Kai this morning. And I begged Kai. I said, "There's no need to kill someone who's not a threat to us. They're just down on the ground." And he killed him again, stabbed him with his dagger. And I panicked, and I ran for the guard. I thought he was going to kill all of them, all of those dwarves. I couldn't even understand them, and I didn't think they deserved to die like that.
Kai,
Everyone dies.
Kai, why did you stab him? He was unconscious.
Well, to be fair, I take this as part of my duty of the order. My duty as a cleric is to prevent death to those of my community. But in order for me to do so, it requires that I preserve my community's life by removing filth such as this from our city. It's my duty to protect you guys and defend you in any way that I can. If that hadn't happened upon us, it could have been anybody walking in there. They would have killed any individual who came stumbling out of that crypt at any moment. It wouldn't have mattered who it was. They were just looking for what they wanted. Kyle kind of look up directly at Viz and says, "Viz, I understand that you want us to value the lives of every individual here. Every individual in the city deserves a life. But the life of a ne'er-do-well such as this one is no equal to ours, no matter how you try to place it. And valuing their life just as you would mine, or just as you would Jot's, puts them in an advantageous position. You're not willing to do what's going to be required to stop or prevent people from being hurt. You can knock them out, but that's not going to stop them from coming back. They will continue to do so over and over again. Sometimes you need to understand that the value of a life differs from person to person.
I get that. I understand that sometimes we have to kill to do good. At first, it didn't feel right killing a person who couldn't defend himself. Unconscious on the ground, he was no threat. I have rope. We could have tied him up. I could have gotten the guard. It wouldn't have been more trouble for them to arrest 3 of them than it was for them to arrest 1 of them. And we have to be. We don't have to be, but I want to stand up to the darkness. I want to be better than it. I understand sometimes we have to do it, and sometimes we have to embrace it, but we have to stand apart from it. We have to use our power for good, I would hope. And I don't think killing an unconscious person is good. And secondly, I've considered you one of my closest friends, and it hurt. And it hurts now. It hurts bad. I was trying so hard to keep life, but you decided your decision and your will is more important than mine. The thing I'm trying so hard to do, just to try and save a life. And when you decided to take it, you decided that your wants and your will is more important than the thing I'm trying to accomplish, and that person's. And I don't feel comfortable with that, and it hurts.
Kai will kind of solemnly nod and lower his head a bit. Then after a second, he'll look up, looking again in the direction of Viz, and say, I regret that I handled things the way that I did, but I have no remorse for killing that man. His friend is going to go back to the Xanathar, and they're going to send their men to us. Because the City Watch now has him. It's going to happen, whether we want it to or not. I was doing what I felt was best, and trying to get you to understand that their lives shouldn't matter more than ours do.
You really think they're just gonna let him go back? Just let him go?
What are they gonna hold him for?
Try-
His friends are dead, and they can speak to them at any moment. They'll learn that Risk was the one that attacked first, not them. They can turn this into their self-defense, and we are now the murderers. There's nothing.
The guards understand that Speak of Dead doesn't force them to tell the truth. They're the ones branded with the Xanathar tattoos, not us.
And we're the ones standing while all of their men are dead.
Yeah.
It's because I'm strong.
Won't argue with that one.
I'm just a person. I'm just here in Waterdeep. I just made friends. I just now have a home. I don't know if I get to value anyone's life more than another's. I don't value their life more than my friends. I don't value your lives more than their others. I do value your guys' life because you're my friends and I care for you more. But that doesn't mean that I'm willing to decide if someone lives or dies. I don't feel comfortable with it. And we've had to hurt people before. We've had to end lives before. I understand it's a necessity. The part that I'm hurt about is just the decision against what I was trying so hard to do. Trying so hard to save a life, using the blessing from my god to near, the same blessing that I used on you this morning to bring you back from near death. I don't use magics like that sparingly, and it takes a lot of effort, and it means a lot to me. And to spend that effort and to spend my god's blessing, and to have you just so dramatically go against it right after I'm pleading for you not to. That's what hurts, Kai.
DM, what do I know of the history of the Xanathar to the people of Waterdeep.
Make a history check with advantage.
Ugh, still not good.
With your ties to certain underworld, underground kind of factions and such, you learned in your investigations of Waterdeep before traveling here that the Zentarum and the Xanathar Guild were present within the city. The Xanathar Guild is a secretive organization. It's not one that acts out openly. It is not one that draws attention to itself. It operates and the organization exists, but it's not one that normal people really know about. The Zentarum is a little bit more open just because it's a mostly fronted by mercenaries selling and sell swords and things of that nature. What you remember, you know that what's happening right now with the Xanathar not only warring with Zentarum or the Black Network openly in the streets, this gang war that seems to be happening, but also with them feverishly attacking people in the middle of the day is unheard of. It is strange. You can definitely put some weight on the fact that since all of you are embroiled in this plot to seek out the Stone of Galore, that the Xanathar Guild very much has their eyes on this item and seem to not be hesitant to spill blood to obtain it.
But from the perspective of the city itself, they haven't been like an openly aggressive guild to the city. They've been more just in hiding.
Common knowledge is that the Xanathar Guild exists. It's seen as evil, or evil. It's a bad organization, right?
Right.
But it's one that's been here for a long time, for decades, if not hundreds of years. It's something that's always exists, but normal people don't really have any reason to know about it. Guards and nobles and higher ups and such know about it just because that's their business to know. You know about it because of your connections with underground networks. But it's not, as you just said, it's not an openly aggressive. They don't go out and just kill people. They don't go out and attack people. They certainly don't go out and participate in gang wars and draw attention to themselves.
Kai will kind of look up and look around the table and say, I acted in a manner that, while is disrespectful to my friend here, was done to protect this community. Not just us, but the people around us. We've already seen so many lives lost in our neighborhood alone. These individuals have already intervened more than once. We can't continue to let this stone be the source of that issue. If it means we have to hunt down this stone immediately and get rid of it, then we have to do so. But the Xanathar are coming for it, as they have made readily apparent. We need to do something.
I think there's a middle ground. I think that we are wasting time in the middle of a fight to attack someone who's already unconscious. I think that's something that can be dealt with later. But I also think that reviving an enemy in the middle of combat is irresponsible. I think there's a middle ground between healing someone who's actively trying to kill us and killing an unconscious man. There has to be a middle ground.
You're right. I shouldn't have healed him. Knowing the circumstances of how Kai's convictions would drive him, I wouldn't have asked for the blessing of Denier to heal that person. I would have let him lie. I acted irrationally. I shouldn't. You're right. I shouldn't have healed him. I panicked. I scared.
And it's as just my responsibility as it is yours. Had I just left the man Unfortunately, my fear was that you revive him and this man is getting right back up and is going to immediately go into combat with you.
I do think... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I didn't want to see any of us harmed from this action, and while I understand what you were trying to do and the point you were trying to prove, I felt that it could have been stated differently or done differently, and I should have handled it much differently myself. I shouldn't have reacted the way that I did and brought this man down, and especially not in front of you.
I've never ever taken a life, and I know one day I'm gonna have to, because I want to defend you guys and you're my friends, and it's gonna be hard when it comes, but I didn't want to start today, and I felt that knocking unconscious was a solution, something that I could accomplish. And if there's a better way that I can help, I want to protect you guys, and I want to protect my friends, and I want to be helpful, and I understand that sometimes we have to take lives, and I will be prepared to do it when the time comes. I don't want to kill if we don't have to. I cry for that dwarf. That I never understood a word he said, but he could be a father, he could have children, a lovely wife, and the only reason he could have been attacking us is maybe his family's held hostage. Maybe, he was introduced into the gang at birth, or maybe he's mind washed, brain control. I don't know. I just don't want to end the life of someone. I don't want to be the judge. I don't want to be the decider that their life needs to end. And I don't know. I'm trying to come to terms with what we have to do. I didn't expect to become a hero. I didn't expect to become an adventurer. I came here to write scribes and write a book, and we're becoming more. And I've made friends, and we have a home, and I understand we might have to do things, and I hope that we don't have to fight amongst ourselves while we're already fighting enemies around us. So many people want to hurt us already, and I don't want to have to combat with you, Kai. I don't want to force you to go against your doctrine. I don't want to force you to go against what you believe in your heart is true, just like I follow the teachings of Danir and Risk follows the teachings of Bahamut. I don't want to force you to do something you're not comfortable with, but in that moment, it hurt, and I'm hurt by it. It sucks to put so much effort into something and to have a friend ruin all that effort.
Kai's just going to nod to that, not really say much. He'll